So, this marks the start of season 3 of The Artful Life, and the season has a slightly different energy to it. Starting with my first live on the channel. The theme is renewal and expansion and experimentation. After the more introspective and crafted episodes of last season, this one's about loosening up a bit, trusting my own compass again, trying new forms, and letting the process be a little bit more alive and unpredictable, because that's basically how things have become. Um, some weeks will be quiet reflections, like last week's The Creative Compass. Others will be more outward focused, little field notes from my trip to Ireland, Portugal, city walks with my camera, trips to the mountain for sure, and even a few of these live sessions as well. I already like it. It's a very, very different energy. Later in the season, there'll be a couple of deeper conversations with other artists. I know plenty. This is Los Angeles, and I have been lucky enough to have been growing and evolving alongside many really, really great people and talented artists. So I look forward to welcoming a few of them. I'll definitely do a few pieces about how attention shapes creativity, and a closing reflection on what these 9 months of the Artful Life will have taught me by then. We're just in the beginning of month 7 now. So it's not about perfection this season. It's about staying in motion, following what's real, and keeping the conversation about creativity alive and whatever form that takes. And let's start with today. It's Thursday again. It's now 2:47 p.m. In Pacific time. And very, very strictly for the first, I think, 25 episodes, all my videos were shot and edited and scheduled for Thursday morning at 7 a.m. They were, I was so organized in the beginning that I wrote and shot 17 episodes in one go over 4 days. And then I had a whole bunch that I could edit from over the next several weeks. And that certainly kind of allowed me a measure of comfort knowing that I didn't have to be thinking about what to, to put on the channel. I just had to create the videos themselves. During that process, I evolved the style. You can only plan so much. I came up with a graphic, thumbnail images that I would reuse for every episode and put a new title on, thinking that, okay, this will be a good visual identity for the channel. And it's funny then, when looking back, when I have a bunch of them, they all look the same now. The first, I don't know, is it 10 or 15 or something? It's hard to distinguish them. So if you're actually kind of going through YouTube or come to my channel, it might be hard to distinguish between them. And then so I changed tack to put, shots of myself on it with different titles, and I changed the title style. The music, I was a fan of the music from the beginning. I liked creating mood pieces, and that's what a lot of them became. I use a library, I'm subscribed to Epidemic Sound Library, and every week I've just found something different that just suits the mood of the piece that I'm kind of trying to create. And I don't know what that is before I edit, but the music really, really helps supports. Actually, you know what it does? It supports the mood of the piece itself. And that's why each one feels like a different short film, because the energy in writing them was different every time, and the energy in as I was recording them was different every time. The energy and influences when I was editing them changed each time. And I think it's great to honor that. Continuity is great for having an identity of a channel, and it's a great frame in the beginning when you're starting something new to kind of know where you're going, right? So I had mapped out the whole first quarter and I decided on the titles and the topics and kind of wrote the scripts as I went. Actually, in those first few days, I was writing a script, shooting one, writing it, shooting it, writing it, shooting it, and it was an exhausting 4 days, but incredibly enlightening. Wow, I can do this. And then as the weeks went on, the energy changed, my life changed, the circumstances of my life changed, the availability of my time changed, and it was stressful for a while to keep what I had established going. And that as someone who likes to kind of know ahead of time what's happening, that stressed me. There was definitely comfort in having everything scheduled beforehand, and that touches on something that I'm sure so many artists will have experienced in their own creative life. These few months have been like a microcosm of my entire artful life, where we're looking for some guidance to get us through the piece. And here's the thing. It's like we can plan all we want and we can map things out. We can outline our projects. But until we do them, we don't really know where they're going. And it is always a balance between honoring using the power of an outline and a plan to help guide you, and then honoring what happens in the moment. There is no right answer. There sometimes feels like what feels like a right answer. What's right is another question. And I think the Creative Compass was talking about that. We can sometimes look to the outside for guidance on what is right, what is the right way to go with a particular creative project or with our overall, creative seasons or creative lives. And while it is helpful to read how others have done things, ultimately it comes down to why you do things and how you do things. And that's one of the great challenges of our creative lives, is to understand how we work. And that takes so much experimentation. It's one of those things that can feel infuriating because it never feels like it's fixed, and as soon as it does feel like it's fixed, it just changes again, or our circumstances change. There's nothing that ever really stays the same. I was so adamant that because I had started out so well and so prepared for my first 2 quarters really of the Artful Life, that every Thursday morning there would be a video. And in the last few weeks, it just hasn't happened. I have got one out technically every week, but sometimes it's been a few hours a day. I think even 3 or 4 days. We'll call it later than scheduled. But then I'm kind of caught up the next week. I also chose to just tone down the production side of the videos. It can take, a few hours to set up the lighting, and I was doing a 2 camera setup, and with the editing and the music, and it felt like a bigger production. And that, as my own circumstances changed, became very, very difficult to carve out that time, and to honor everything else that I wanted to do in my life. So the difficult choice was, well, okay, it's not as perfect as it was in the beginning, in my own mind. Um, excuse the bing. It was perfect in my mind in that it was prepared and scheduled, and every morning, every week it was going out, and so much satisfaction in that as a former film and TV editor. And I trained as an assistant, kind of order, and order helps with chaos, order kind of helps find a way through the chaos. And when that began to slip, I didn't feel right. I felt like I was letting myself down. I was letting my dedicated but small subscriber group down. And I felt like, oh no, I'm just going to be like everyone else who starts a channel. It's like loads of enthusiasm for the first, few weeks. And then it's like, oh, actually, this is hard work, right? And then it just drops off. So thankfully, having worked for decades in, various creative fields, editing film and TV, writing fiction, writing screenplays, writing essays, writing a branding book, co-writing a branding book with my partner Johanna, business partner Johanna, that I know that there are going to be these ups and downs, these lulls, these times when the enthusiasm isn't there and the structure that we have created just can't be there. And they are the times which kind of like test us the most. We can't avoid them. They're going to come. All the best plans are going to be challenged. It's about, what do we do then? Do we just stop and say, oh, it's not perfect as I planned it, so I might as well just ditch it? I know so many people do that, and it's unfortunate, because it doesn't match exactly what we thought it would look like in our brains, and that can be upsetting to certain artists and in certain creative fields or disciplines. And the progress through that is just accepting that, hey, okay, I've just got to accept that doesn't feel good for a while. That, oh God, yeah, my schedule's messed up. I'm not putting them out on time anymore. They're not as polished looking as they used to be. But I'm going to do them anyway, right? And as a former perfectionist, it'll always be there to some extent. The perfectionism, I mean, that helps. Perfectionism, as much bad press as it has gotten, there's a certain amount of it required to push through very, very challenging projects. You might never achieve it, but the effort towards it is what carries you through a project. And but it's about accepting that the perfection won't be reached, but without reaching for it, without attempting it, nothing will be finished. And so that's my creative compass at the moment. A screenplay that I wrote a few years ago, someone has asked to read it, and that has become my main focus now. And until I send that off, and this channel has helped renew that fire in me. I had been writing screenplays nonstop for 7 or 8 years, and two or 3 years ago, I kind of just ran out of steam on that, and I said, I just need to go in a different creative direction, and I did, and I explored several different areas, and it's like now when someone comes back to me and asks to read something, I came back to, I first of all had to choose which screenplay to work on and to look at with 2 or 3 years distance, and decide, oh wow, how do I feel about it now? What can I improve? What would I like to stay the same? What still feels true? And all the explorations I've been doing on this channel have allowed me to, I think, live with the uncertainty a little bit better. It's also given me so much encouragement and confidence, and that I can do a new form. I had never done, a proper scripted YouTube video before, 6 months ago, and here I am on 28 now, and I also am doing a parallel Substack essay, which is related to a video each week. And they're new things, and the trying of the new things, it's a very, very slow process to find your audience, especially for something not sensational like I'm doing. It's very grounded and sincere, and that's my style. And I know that there are plenty of people out there who, in this very loud medium, like to find something a little bit more slow and thoughtful. And when I don't see the numbers rising as I would have liked, I'm still so kind of grateful for those who do choose to subscribe and to watch, because people have found it who need to find it, and that is amazing. And only by keeping going and keeping showing up, that gives everyone viewing confidence too. If it's almost like you become part of a team, it's like I rely on you to watch the videos so they'll get more viewership, and you rely on me to keep talking to you about what it is that we're all trying to achieve here. So I think I just wanted to come on and say that today, that this is a brand new thing for me too, this live. I like it, and I have to be honest, I feel like it was originally, this might be quicker, but I still have to figure out what to say. It's obviously not scripted, but you still have to do all the titles and all the other YouTube stuff, right? There's less production for sure, but you still have to sit down, carve out the time and do it. So please join me on season 3 as I continue the exploration in all forms. I'd like to, keep doing check-ins maybe on the lives, just to let you know how the creative projects are going. I might go more in depth into some of those. Please do watch the whole 2 previous seasons of The Artful Life to catch up on what I've been, sharing. And we're now in season 3. Please continue to tune in, share, like, and subscribe. And please hit me with any questions that you might have about your own creative journey. And the through line question for this season 3 is, how do you stay open to change while still honoring your creative core? Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.